So, before I talk about the rest of the episode, I really want to focus on what happened in the second part of the episode, which obviously gave a lot of people more mysteries, and um, it just reinforces when my the theory a theory that I had that they're 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 somehow transplanting parts of the monster, the man eater, to these children, probably at birth, for the sole purpose of making them pretty much building a society that is immune to all sickness, like the lady said, to make their bodies immune to pretty much everything. And she's of course caught off guard because two children, or so far two children that we know, have died of sickness, of something that they shouldn't have died of. So, the one that died in this episode, I forgot. I know it starts with that. It was like a tensei or something. He died of a strange sickness, which we saw at the end of the episode. It turned out, the doctors took out something in his body, and it looked like to me alienish, kind of like an alien egg or something. Maybe it probably has something to do with the fact that you're transplanting monster organs into these children at a young age, and who knows what disease they might carry. So I mean, it wasn't really unexpected, but obviously the women want kind of a lid on this situation, like to find a cure, because they are supposed to be immune to everything, and I understand why she's so um pretty pretty much why she's so urgent about this. And then the first that we were told about was this child named Ashura, some kid, and she ended up committing suicide by somehow hanging herself from the ceiling of the facility. And so my first question is, how did she get there? First of all, because her body was literally hanging from the ceiling. So yeah, how did she even get there? And one thing that kind of piqued my interest was that the lady said it's our sin because we transplanted a mind into a body that wasn't really ready to accept that it has a new mind. And where I got, and with the clue that they committed suicide, so obviously something was very wrong in their head. What I'm thinking is that for that child, they somehow were able to transplant like brain, like they probably transplanted a brain, two children pretty much, and depending on what they need, like let's say probably that child needed a spare brain, so they thought, since the monster brain makes them immune, let's just transplant that because it's a brain either way, so it should work. And obviously it didn't, because it caused suicide, and now there's a new sickness. As we saw towards the end, there was like a little insect or slug that they took out of Tensei's body before they cremated him, and I'm guessing that's what causes illness. And then we get and then our main character that is in heaven, I forgot his name, but the main kid in the facility, he ends up getting a sickness. We see him throwing up in the toilet with like sweats and a red face, so he probably has some kind of temperature or something. And to me, it's kind of funny because these kids are supposed to be immune to pretty much everything. So there's colds and disease. but it's pretty ironic. When you're immune to everything becomes, deadly to you pretty much. So I just find that kind of piece very kind of ironic in a dark humor kind of way. Well, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about that happened in the second half. Now, come back in the first half. When we get more information about the doctor and pretty much what's happening inside. So, the main characters, they are sleeping somewhere, and this is one of the guys from the ships comes and asks her, can you be my bodyguard, because I'm going to this immortal order. And obviously she asks, what's that? And he explains, it's a order of people that pretty much wants civilization to be how it was before the whole great disaster happened. And he says, there's a doctor there that says that if you bring something to him, like let's say a piece. So in this case, the man was bringing a part of a monster organ, I'm guessing. And he says, the doctor can do these surgeries, and that part of the monster gets put into you, and then you become, very with inhuman abilities, pretty much. And we don't get confirmation, but it's highly likely that the doctor he's talking about is the same doctor that one of our main characters looking for, doctor with the gray hair. Now I wanna mention that this conversation that happened. So we get to learn our main character's backstory pretty much of when he was a kid, and being the first generation, or he was after the whole great disaster. He grows up, and then one night, I guess one of his close friends, talked to him about this order that exists, these groups of people that, want civilization to be how it used to be before, and that's why, they're kidnapping people or whatever. And obviously it's, the kids are interested when they hear it, but, they easily probably forget it. But, I just wonder, who this group is, because what if this immortal group is probably just the heaven, pretty much, the heaven staff, whatever, those people, and they're just going by the immortal order name. Anyways, that's just my theory on that. But one thing I want to add before I end the video. So in the whole backstory scene, he mentions that this girl that we kind of saw, I forgot, probably in the second or third episode, but he says, I met this girl and she pretty much took me under her wing, and, she taught me how to more efficiently use my power. And that power, what we see the kid used all the time, with where he put his hand somewhere and then we can see like a light that shaped as his hand goes into the body and then destroys something. He says, yeah, that move, she pretty much teaches me how to use it more efficiently, and she tells me that since I have this power, I should be in this facility, heaven. And that's how I pretty much know about heaven. Now from this, obviously there's questions like, one, how does she even know heaven? How does she how can she teach you how to use it more efficiently if she never has any experience with it? Like, she has no idea how it is, or even how to get better. So how would she know that? And how, I'm kind of surprised that she wasn't really, the fact that she wasn't really surprised when she saw that he obviously had inhumane power, because that is pretty inhumane. Like, it's not natural for a human boy to put their hand on a creature, and then light that is in the shape of their hand can go in your body and then pretty much destroy whatever it is from the inside. To me, that sounds pretty insane. So how would she know how to deal with that? Like, how would she know about this heaven thing, this that exists, and that they, from what it looks like they are especially trying to not recruit but build pretty much a whole immune society, pretty much starting from scratch from the kids. And obviously these kids have superpower with the monster parts they have. So since he has the power, he probably doesn't have a monster thing in him, but probably something else happened to him that we don't know yet. But I just found that whole scene kind of interesting, and I wanted to kind of talk about it with you guys, see what you guys think about it. But overall, I think it was a pretty great episode. Like I said, the second half of the episode was my favorite, because there's a lot of mystery there, and it certainly makes your brain start to think more about what's really going on with everything. And hopefully next episode, at least some of those questions are answered. But yeah, overall pretty solid episode, and I'm pretty excited for next episode. But think I'm gonna end there. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.